Joining us now is founder and chairman of the Faith and Freedom Coalition, Ralph Freed. Good morning to you, sir. Good to see you.
Good morning, Dave. Good to be with you.
All right. Is this we've heard it used a game changer? If Rick Perry were to get in, does it change the entire field?
I think it's too early to tell, but Rick Perry is not to be underestimated. He'll be an impact player, and he'll be a significant addition to this race. And I think very uniquely, Dave, he really is both a sort of cause-oriented, conservative activist candidate who's going to be able to appeal to both social conservatives and Tea Party activists. If you go back and you look at the exit polls from 2008, 41% of all voters who cast ballots in Republican presidential primaries nationwide were self-identified evangelical Christians. It's clearly a critical part of the party. But in addition to that, he's been the successful governor of the second largest state in America. And so he has that profile of a more traditional candidate who's going to be able to raise money and get endorsements. So I don't know if he's going to get in or not, but it sure looks like it as of this morning.
Yeah, depending on which number you believe, Texas has generated either between 37 and 50% of the jobs since the recovery began, and the polls look even better for Rick Perry. Without even throwing his name in, he is showing up second in most national polls, including this Fox News poll we're looking at here, has him just 3 points behind Romney. Is there a void for the Christian conservatives, for the evangelicals, when Mike Huckabee, our colleague, decided not to run?
I think there was, and you've got a lot of people making a real full-throated appeal to that vote for the obvious reasons that I've already alluded to, which is the huge number of votes that they represent. In Iowa, by the way, in the caucuses, it'll be 55 to 60% of the vote. I think that explains why Michelle Bachmann catapulted so quickly. I think Tim Pawlenty is a guy to keep your eye on. I wouldn't count him out. He's in an RV tour across Iowa right now. And as a professing evangelical himself and also a successful governor, he's going to make an appeal. Herman Cain, Rick Santorum. I think that's the thing that Perry's got to be careful of. Number one, the process has not been friendly to late entrants. He would certainly break that mold if he's able to do that, and I think he may be able to. Secondly, if that vote gets split 4, 5, 6, 7 ways, a lot of times, as we saw with McCain in 2008, it makes it easier for the front runner, lack of a better term, to maintain their primacy.
Let me ask you about the front runner, Mitt Romney, obviously a Mormon. There's also John Huntsman, who is a Mormon. Is there any discomfort as far as those religious conservatives, the evangelicals, is there any discomfort on their side of things in terms of supporting a Mormon?
Well, I think you obviously don't have the same level of affinity that you would with a Mike Huckabee. I think that goes without saying. I think Huckabee was a guy who could speak with an enormous comfort level, not only about his own faith and his own spiritual journey, but he could also talk in a way that was both compelling but also inclusive about the moral agenda of the party and the cultural agenda, and that's important to these voters. But look, Mitt Romney, I think, really went through this fire 4 years ago. I think he addressed it. I think he talked about his faith.
Yeah.
He got pinged a little bit for having changed his position on abortion and so forth. I think that's largely behind him. And he's making a real effort to appeal to these voters as well. Remember, 4 years ago, Dave, he got 20% of these voters.
Yeah.
And I think he'll do at least that well, maybe better this time.
Well, the economy plays into his hands there, and that's my next question. With the unemployment rate at 9.2%, with more than 15 million people out of work, how important should social issues be for Republican voters?
I think they're going to be important to the voters to whom they matter. And as I've said, that's a big number of voters. But this election is clearly going to be about jobs and the economy. And more specifically, it's going to be a referendum on the failed stewardship of this presidency and the disastrous record of this administration on turning this economy around. So whoever the Republicans nominate, whether it's somebody for whom the economy is clearly in their wheelhouse, like Romney, who's got a background in finance and business, as does Huntsman, or whether it's one of the other candidates.
Yeah.
You mentioned Perry being able to talk about job creation in Texas. every one of these candidates has to remember this is not just about appealing to the base. It's about going out there and talking to those voters who are hurting right now because they've lost a job, a family member's lost a job, or they've lost their home or in danger of doing so.
It's going to be interesting. They're going to have a huge task, whoever it is. The founder of the Faith and Freedom Coalition, Ralph Reed, thanks for getting up early with us.
Thank you very much, Dave. Good to be with you.
You got it. Guys, what's coming up?